this is a really deep men's race. It's a really, really deep men's race. And then you also look at the tactics that people race at. It's also a really deep field in the fact that there's a lot of racers that race patiently and smart. And so when you have now 5 to 10 guys playing the really safe, smart card, it's like, how's that dynamic gonna work out?
It worked out well last year.
It worked out really well last year, but you're welcome. Western States this year felt a lot more like me trying to pursue my own goals. 2016 was more racing and people affecting other people's race plans. This year, I was pretty forward and upfront with what I want to try to do. Yes, I'm gonna go out probably at a good pace where it's gonna be record pace from the start and it's gonna be this and that, and someone's gonna have to close that gap. I think more realistically, what could happen and what would be most dangerous is if a chase pack chilled and found a good rhythm and found a good conservative pace.
And maybe
where like if I did slip up late, they're close enough and they fed off of each other enough where one of them could have a good day and then make a break from that to close it. I don't feel like I affected Ryan Sand's strategy. I don't feel like I affected Alex or Mark's strategy quite as much as I might have last year. Those guys really ran their strategy, they ran their race, they persevered on a really difficult day.
Who do you think could hang with you the longest?
Well, we talked about it. Well, I mean, Eli from Sweden's like totally most impulsive, but like he seems like he wants to like run with 10 miles, but I also see him finding like a smarter pace to run at.
He likes to talk smack, but
he's a fun guy. I mean, yeah, I like Eli. Western States this year was kind of fun and interesting because there ended up being a little bit of character building, I think, in the men's race beforehand of these different personalities popping up. From Elov sending me videos of him training in a sauna on 3 steps and going up and down, and like, I'm coming for you, Walmsley.
How's the heat training going, Walmsley? Coconinos, coming for you. Coconinos, coming for you. Fast.
Part of why I kind of had my dark Strava week is I knew people were watching it, but Elov, I talked to him about that afterwards. He's like, oh, I hate that. What did you do? And like, you'll never know, man. It's been awesome to get to know him and Johan and all the guys that came down from Sweden. How often do you get to meet other people that are into the same stuff and love what you do that are from the other part of the world? Like, it's really cool to do that. I hear your beard didn't settle so well. Might have got it on video.
And it's been a fun time. Something to picking up the fire to train. So something to catch. The Coconino Cowboys are the best. So that's why.
All the kind of smack talking and who's gonna beat who or how fast you're gonna run, I think is really fun. It adds like another competitive element to the race. Keeps you more honest in your training. Chris Mako's obviously been very public and has put in some great weeks. And he's put in by single weeks, bigger weeks than any single one of mine. I mean, Chris Mako put in massive weeks. Someone doing that sort of training really keeps me honest and like, I gotta put in the work. Otherwise, someone else is gonna be putting in that work and they're gonna come and get me.
It takes a lot of balls to go out and try to hit those splits. Like, I'm sure 100 people have told him already, like, oh, why don't you just stick with the leaders and you could have won the race, but that wasn't his plan. He wanted to do something way more epic than that, and I have a ton of respect for that.
And then you see Alex Nichols struggling with a little bit of injuries after Black Canyon, and you see this nice, slow, gradual build-up towards Western States, and you're like, he's getting pretty fit. Alex Nichols, I don't think is getting enough talked about. Gotta be odds on. He's undefeated in hundreds. He's always some way found his dark horse role in races, and it's like he finishes podium every time. Like, he's a grinder and he crushes. He logs his stuff on Strava, so there's a big transparency with logging your stuff publicly that I think helps us all push stuff. And yeah, you're like, Alex Nichols is either not ready or he's like timing this just right to hit it in the sweet part of the bat. And yeah, he did it again. He just does it again and again and again. And that's kind of what proves to be like what makes a stud in ultra running is consistency and finishing on the podium and up at the top. Dude, let me give you a hug, one more hug. Proud of you, dude. That was awesome. Way to get it done. And
sorry
yeah.
It didn't work for you.
Part of the sport, it's all good. Not gonna be bitter about it. And
There's always next.
there's always another race.
Yep.
So, dude, you're just another example of how you just somehow float under the radar, but you crush every single time, man. And
Thanks.
yeah, we all know that, so good job.
Yeah.
Ryan Sands, you know, he's coming in with a 15:03, like personal best at Western States. How Ryan Sands with a 15:02 PR at Western States isn't getting more love. He's got just incredible experience of racing around the whole world. Just kind of a superstar in his own right. Ryan Sands was the only one that went out with me for the first 40 yards, and he looks over and he's like, going for sub 14, and I look over and I say, hell yeah. He just kind of backs off and just like, good luck. And I mean, that's his experience showing of you're crazy.
You got it, man. Good job, Gabriel. Go get it, man. Good job. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, man. Coming up and over.
I bring a lot of inspiration out of what Ryan Sands did. I mean, he passed us going down to the river, no pacer, soaking wet. Tim and I look at each other and go, how is he so wet right now? Like, we're both just bone dry, and it's like we were soaking down every chance we get. And I mean, he was just nailing it and just in the zone and in the pain cave, and he just really persevered for sure.
Nice hole.
Yeah, I think if Jim stuck it according to his plan to go sub 14, there's no ways I was going to get close to sub 14, so I wasn't too worried about that. I thought like with the heat today and the snow, it was a bit ambitious to go out that way, but I said to Jim, he's got bigger balls than I'll ever have. I wouldn't try to chase something that crazy, so respect to him, and like you say, win some, you lose some.
Went down in flames today. That's all right. I don't feel disappointment. I feel like I should be more disappointed. I should beat myself up more about it, but everyone's been so positive about it.
I feel like he gives his whole heart and soul, and he's going to put his big goals out. And most runners are they keep their running goals to themselves, or they'll tell just maybe a couple people, but he's very open to tell what he's going to do, and it's really inspiring to see that. Like, he's not afraid to set his goals high and set the standards high so that other people can see, you know, don't be afraid. Set those standards high and go for it, you know. Got one shot, why not try it?
I don't really want to say Jim made a mistake. I think Jim ran very aggressively, but like that was what made the race so exciting. I think Jim ran with a lot of heart, and I think that was really good and fun to watch. And at the end of the day, his stomach went, from what I understand. And you know, would his stomach went if he went out slower? Maybe not. Or maybe it would have, you know, maybe it was just with the heat and everything, the stomach was going to go no matter what.
Oh, that feels better.
You done that before?
Huh?
You done that before?
No.
Okay. I think that means you're on sub 14. Never done that before either.
People get very critical of how people run races, but there's no real right and wrong way to run a race. Like it's the runner's race. Like they can run it however they want, and the sport is interesting because there's guys with different styles and different strategies.
It's cool to earn other talented runners' respect, like I feel like I did, but at the same time, guys like the Jeff Brownings get to have a little bit of a chuckle.
No one's ever tried to charge from the beginning at 100. You know, we've seen some guys try it, but everyone's always blown up. And can it be done? I don't know. I mean, he's tried it a couple times and he's blown up twice.
I can't believe you charged from the beginning. Man, it's impressive.
Well, I'm like, dude, there's so much time to be made up if you just kind of run within yourself up that hill. Like,
I do think that if you do that consistently, you're gonna have very inconsistent performances in 100, because 100s are just so long. You know, it's so much different. You can do that in 100K, you can charge.
Experience matters too, right?
yeah.
Just over time, the more you do, the more you try, you learn to go, oh wait, what if I laid back just a little longer and then went?
You
Yeah.
know, because then you have way more legs at the end because it comes back in spades in the second half.
Yeah.
Instead of like going in on fumes.
No,
Full
I'm
out fumes.
definitely still learning a lot, and
Well, that's every time you do one.
know.
That's what learn from it.
yeah.
Just take
Yeah.
away a couple of tidbits and say, okay, next time.
Yeah.
Record pace was not the right strategy today.
Yeah, I still got a lot of years left. In
Yeah,
it,
you do. You got a lot of years.
We're good. I don't know about as many as you've put in, but
Well, I run a little more conservative than you do, dude. So,
Dude,
so I've
you
had a
finished-
longer career.
didn't you finish 4th again?
Yeah.
Conservative my ass.
Also, I think Jim's one of those personalities too that's like trying to see what he can do. You know, what he can push. Ultra running is such a young sport that we don't really know our limits yet.
Live and learn, and maybe
Well, dude,
adjust
it's such a young
correctly.
sport. We don't
next
know
time.
what can happen, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what
I
I mean.
think
That's
so.
why I appreciate you charging.
Yeah. Getting into ultra running at a younger age is gonna prove to be better, faster times. It can be really revolutionary. It's not the first time, like young people have gotten into it, but I think you're seeing more young people get in.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. It's for a lot more little kids. You guys are, you're a huge inspiration. I mean, he's done 10 ultras and he's 11 years old, and it's like he follows you guys like his friends follow, LeBron.
That fresh blood and fresh perspective, I think, is what's gonna push limits. You're the man, though.
Yeah, you are.
I
dude.
appreciate what you
Seriously.
do. So.
Yeah. I think it's exciting time for sure. With everything's going down and with him trying to do this kind of, run these kind of performances. I mean, he's nailing a lot of shorter stuff. It's still, it still remains to be seen whether he can nail 100. And maybe he'll prove us all wrong and end up nailing one.
That's kind of what inspires me to go out there and put that best foot forward. Is you're kind of seeking for that perfect race, that perfect run. No, it was just rough and things really unraveled, but part of it, and went for it and don't regret that, but I'd probably do it exactly the same next time. I'm just impulsive, I guess. I mean, you make an agreement, you're gonna stick by it. You tell someone you're gonna do something, you go do it. You say you're gonna go for sub 14. Doesn't matter what the conditions are, go try to send it.